In the stillness of twilight, a woman stands before a weathered gravestone, her fingers tracing the familiar letters etched in cold stone. Her own name stares back at her, a chilling reminder of a life she thought she'd left behind. But as she kneels to place a single white rose at the base of the marker, a horrifying realization dawns. The earth beneath her feet feels hollow, empty. With trembling hands, she begins to dig, her heart pounding in her chest. As the soil gives way, she discovers the unthinkable. Her coffin lies open, and her body is gone. The cool night air whispers through the cemetery, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decaying leaves. She stands, frozen in disbelief, her mind reeling with questions. How could this be? Who would take her body? And more importantly, if she's standing here now, alive and breathing, then whose life has she been living all this time? Memories flood back, fragmented and hazy. She remembers waking up in a hospital bed, confused and disoriented. The doctors had told her she'd been in an accident, that she'd suffered severe head trauma. They said it was a miracle she'd survived. But now, as she stares at the empty grave before her, she wonders if it was a miracle at all. She stumbles backward, her legs weak and unsteady. The moonlight casts eerie shadows across the gravestones, and for a moment, she feels as though she's trapped in a nightmare. But the cold wind against her skin, the sharp scent of freshly turned earth, it's all too real. With shaking hands, she pulls out her phone and dials 911. The operator's voice sounds distant, muffled, as she tries to explain the impossible situation. "My name is Sarah Thompson," she says, her voice barely above a whisper. "I'm standing in front of my own grave, and my body is missing." The police arrive within minutes, their sirens piercing the quiet of the night. They find her huddled against a nearby tree, her eyes wide with fear and confusion. As they approach, she can see the disbelief on their faces. They've never encountered anything like this before. Detective James Miller takes charge of the scene, his experienced eyes scanning the disturbed grave. He turns to Sarah, his voice gentle but firm. "Ma'am, I need you to tell me everything you remember. Start from the beginning." Sarah closes her eyes, trying to piece together the fragments of her memory. "I woke up in the hospital 3 years ago," she begins. "They told me I'd been in a car accident, that I'd been in a coma for months, but everything before that is blank." As she speaks, the detective's partner begins taking photographs of the scene. The flash illuminates the empty coffin, the disturbed earth. It's all evidence now, part of a mystery that seems impossible to solve. Sarah continues, her voice growing stronger as she recounts the past 3 years. She tells them about rebuilding her life, about the struggle to regain her memories. But now, standing here in this graveyard, she realizes that everything she thought she knew might be a lie. Detective Miller listens intently, his brow furrowed in concentration. When Sarah finishes, he places a comforting hand on her shoulder. "We're going to figure this out," he promises. "But for now, we need to get you somewhere safe." As they lead her to the waiting police car, Sarah can't help but look back at the open grave. It feels like a gaping wound in the earth, a physical manifestation of the hole in her memory. Who was she before? And who is she now? The ride to the police station is a blur. Sarah stares out the window, watching as the familiar streets of her town pass by. But now, everything seems different, alien. She wonders how many times she's walked these streets, thinking she belonged here, when in reality, she might be a stranger in her own life. At the station, they take her fingerprints and DNA samples. The detective explains that they'll compare them to the records they have on file for Sarah Thompson. It's a strange feeling, waiting to find out if you are who you think you are. Hours pass, and Sarah sits in a small interview room, a cup of untouched coffee growing cold in front of her. She tries to piece together her fragmented memories, searching for any clue that might explain how she ended up in this impossible situation. Finally, Detective Miller returns, a thick file in his hands and a grave expression on his face. "Miss Thompson," he begins, then pauses, as if unsure how to continue. "The results of our tests are ... inconclusive." Sarah leans forward, her heart racing. "What does that mean?" The detective takes a deep breath. "Your fingerprints match those we have on file for Sarah Thompson, but the DNA. It's close, but not an exact match. It's as if you're related to Sarah Thompson, but you're not her." The room spins, and Sarah grips the edge of the table to steady herself. "How is that possible?" she whispers. Detective Miller shakes his head. "We don't know, but we're going to find out. We've contacted Sarah Thompson's family. They're on their way here now." The next few hours are a whirlwind of activity. Sarah paces the small room, her mind racing with possibilities. Could she have a twin she never knew about? Or is there a more sinister explanation? When the door finally opens, Sarah's breath catches in her throat. A middle-aged couple enters, their faces a mix of hope and fear. The woman's eyes widen as she sees Sarah, and she lets out a choked sob. "Sarah," she whispers, taking a hesitant step forward. "Is it really you?" Sarah stands frozen, unable to speak. She doesn't recognize these people, but something deep inside her responds to the woman's voice. It's a feeling of familiarity, of belonging that she can't explain. The man, his face lined with years of worry, speaks next. "We thought we'd lost you," he says, his voice thick with emotion. "They told us you were dead." As Sarah listens to their story, a new picture begins to emerge. They tell her about the accident, about the months they spent by her hospital bed, praying for a miracle. And then the devastating news that she had succumbed to her injuries. "But we never saw your body," the woman says, tears streaming down her face. "They told us it was too damaged, that it would be better to remember you as you were." Sarah's mind reels with this new information. If these people are her parents, then who has she been living with for the past 3 years? Who are the people she's called Mom and Dad? Detective Miller interjects, his voice gentle but firm. "We're going to need to do some more tests," he explains. "And we'll need to speak with the people you've been living with. This is a very complex situation." As the night wears on, more pieces of the puzzle begin to fall into place. The police discover that the hospital where Sarah woke up 3 years ago has no record of her stay. The doctors she remembers don't exist. It's as if her entire life for the past 3 years has been carefully constructed, an elaborate lie. But why? Who would go to such lengths to give her a false identity? And what happened to the real Sarah Thompson? As dawn breaks, casting a pale light through the station windows, Sarah finds herself facing an uncertain future. Her entire world has been turned upside down, her identity thrown into question. But as she looks at the couple who claim to be her parents, she feels a glimmer of hope. "We'll figure this out together," she says, reaching out to take their hands. "Whoever I am, whatever happened to me, we'll find the truth." And as they embrace, tears mingling with tentative smiles, Sarah knows that this is just the beginning of a long and difficult journey. But for the first time in years, she feels a sense of purpose, a determination to uncover the truth about who she really is. The mystery of the empty grave may have been solved, but the mystery of Sarah Thompson's identity is only just beginning. As she steps out of the police station into the bright light of a new day, she takes a deep breath. Whatever lies ahead, she's ready to face it. Because now, finally, she has a chance to discover her true self,